Today's technological market is dominated by two contrasting business models, the generative and the non-generative. The generative models, the PCs, Windows, and Macs of this world, allow third parties to build upon and share through them. The non-generative model is more restricted. Appliances might work well, but the only entity that can change the way they operate is the vendor. Work through the module at your own pace. Do the self-assessment activity on the page after the introduction to check your skills in this professional practice. The self-assessment activity will help you to decide which elements of practice you want to improve. Information and communications technology, or digital technology, refers to online or internet use, for example, communicating, creating and sharing information or multimedia texts. Digital media includes websites, electronic books, software, audio, video, video games, mobile media applications and social media. These studies represent a unique insight into the lives of adolescent girls in 11 diverse countries. They give voice to adolescent girls in communities that are marginalized or disadvantaged for a variety of reasons, representing the voices of over 900 girls from all over the world. In multilingual countries, code mixing, the use of more than one variety in the same utterance or sentence, and code switching, the use of different languages or varieties between sentences, is common and natural. Despite its frequency, or perhaps because of it, some scholars and self-appointed guardians of linguistic morality view both code mixing and code switching as a sign of linguistic deficiency. There are thousands of websites, apps and tools to help you teach and learn English. It can be difficult to find and choose which of these online spaces are most useful to you and your learners. Developing skills and strategies to help you locate digital content and find it again when you need it will save you time. There are thousands of websites, apps and tools to help you teach and learn English. It can be difficult to find and choose which of these online spaces are most useful to you and your learners. Developing skills and strategies to help you locate digital content and find it again when you need it will save you time. The countries in this study have mostly patriarchal societies, where males are the heads of households. Women have fewer employment opportunities and experience more barriers to education, with many lacking access to basic education, or being prevented from studying certain subjects and less likely to progress to higher education. When buying a house, for example, it's best to let our unconscious mull over the many variables. But when we're picking stocks and shares, intuition often leads us astray. The trick is to determine when to lean on which part of the brain. And to do this, we need to think harder and smarter about how we think. The first thing to think about when searching for information online is the search terms or keywords you put into a search engine. You need to be clear about what exactly you are searching for. Imagine you want to find some drama activities to motivate your learners to use more spoken English. On the other hand, it has also meant that digital solutions have been much more readily accepted as a means of providing education, highlighting the importance of digital literacy for all. Digital has obviously become more important, with the reasons varying for the different contexts. Just about everyone on the planet wears at least one article of clothing made from cotton at some point during the day. Inevitably, byproducts of the plant show up as well in something that person is doing. The source of cotton's power is its nearly terrifying versatility and the durable creature comforts it provides. When you select digital content, you must decide if it is appropriate, and if it helps you and your learners to achieve lesson aims. Digital content is useful, but we also need to think about digital tools and digital platforms. These are online spaces where people can interact, create and share information with each other. Learning to think critically is vital for the development of literacy and language skills. Learners need to be taught how to think, not what to think, so they can make informed choices in life for themselves. Critical thinkers are able to reason and analyze information to generate solutions and solve problems. The gender-digital divide was also clear in many countries, with parents viewing the digital sphere as an unsafe place for their teenage girls, as well as girls not necessarily using digital to its full potential. There also seems to be a generational digital divide. The preparation of abstracts is an intellectual effort, requiring general familiarity with the subject. To bring out the salient points of an author's argument calls for skills and experience. Consequently, a considerable amount of qualified manpower that could be used to advantage in other ways must be diverted to the task of facilitating access to information. It is important to evaluate how effectively digital content, tools, apps and platforms help to achieve your learning outcomes. The aim is to be sure that these are appropriate and effective in helping you to achieve your language and learning outcomes. In some countries it provides access or acts as a barrier to access to higher education, while in others, where English is the medium of instruction, it can serve as a huge barrier to people being able to achieve educational outcomes. Most words have experienced several changes in meaning throughout their history, so that it is impossible to say which stage in their meaning is the true meaning. And if we attempt to go back to the beginning, we find it is impossible, for the origins of many words are difficult to trace back. Collaborative work happens when learners participate proactively in a group with a shared purpose. Effective collaboration requires learners to build positive working relationships, share their skills and knowledge, and engage in respectful dialogue. It is a good idea to encourage discussion of rules and guidelines to share different points of view and understand what your learners are experiencing. You will discuss and edit e-safety and technology use guidelines with ideas from your learners. Innovative or original thinking requires higher-order thinking skills. Learners must use a complex set of cognitive processes to produce originality, one of the main aims of 21st century education. The learning outcome should be an original production that helps learners make sense of the language. English plays various roles, including providing access to the internet, higher education and employment opportunities. However, in some countries, the most urgent need is perhaps not for English, but foundational literacy in young people's home language. Experienced teachers know that the same problems often happen over and over again. They also know how busy teachers are and how little time there is to prepare. Therefore, you want to be able to anticipate problems and plan your response quickly in your mind as you prepare your lesson. The reports show a variety of social issues which impact on the lives of adolescent girls in each country. These issues are culturally sensitive, and the most appropriate ways that they can be highlighted and discussed are specific to each country. Much of what people do today disguises a desperate search for meaning, the result of the crisis of belief that has become a major problem of the Western world. On the one hand, the elites and their high culture suffer a loss of confidence, and aimless consumerism is widespread. On the other, powerful new myths arise, as with sporting heroes. In contexts where most students have limited to no access to the internet, it may be quite challenging to prepare yourself to teach English remotely. In such a scenario, you will benefit from some preparation and research into different options before starting to teach. Some interesting perspectives emerged from the boys interviewed, and there is huge potential in engaging them as drivers of social change. For example, boys interviewed often expressed the opinion that girls have equal or better ability than boys in English and digital. Thus, there is a need to speak more to boys.